Chakman, this is what I was trying to say. Empty houses are still being burnt, property being destroyed. जो लॉ मेकर्स हैं, जो इम्पोर्टेंट सिटीजन्स हैं, जो पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम में से रखते हैं, उनके घर जल जाते हैं पीठ पीछे. सो हाउ डू यू एक्सपेक्ट कॉमन पीपल टू कम बैक?
Well, I mean, I think my previous speaker had mentioned that there are pockets of powerful communities. It basically shows that Manipur is exactly what Somalia was, which from where the Americans were forced to withdraw. And it is not an understatement to say that the state itself has collapsed. Now, under these circumstances, where the minister, the MPs, are under threat. MLS cannot go to the assembly. There is no safety and security. Question will also arise at certain stage if this continues, how the committees which are appointed by the Supreme Court are going to operate. It's at one stage, it's very easy for the court to direct and say that the cases are registered and etc. Now, would it be possible for the committee actually to go and visit, and take the necessary measures, whether recording of the crimes, examining the witnesses? I think scheme is one thing which you can develop. But at certain stage, if this situation continues, my fear is then the court or the investigations which have been appointed by the Supreme Court itself will collapse and will not be able to function. And I think what we are not taking into consideration is the fact that the state of India has lost its complete control over the territories, over the people, and there is nobody who is functioning. And the chief minister himself cannot go out possibly of his house, and nobody beyond his rich telephone call, etc., actually listens to him. So in that kind of situation, how do you come out of it? And there is no actually space whatsoever, because each time you try to initiate some discussion, it leads to some politicking by possibly all sides, then it doesn't help. And that's why, I think we have to understand one thing. Each time you hear certain things, in this discussions I had here earlier, people are demanding the NRC. And in fact, the Naga groups mentioned saying that cookies are, refugees. They had come in the 19th century, etc. Forget about the 19th century. When people are fleeing to save their lives, they do not carry any documents. And if they have forgotten their Aadhaar number, if they have forgotten their, PAN number or the voter ID number, they have lost everything, even possibly the property numbers. How are I going to retrieve them? And you are a refugee or that's a stateless person. Then you have, in the midst of it, the Ministry of Home Affairs issuing direction to Manipur and to Mizoram government, undertake biometric identification of the illegal immigrants. And for God's sake, who has given this idea? A tribal who has fled from Imphal Valley has no document. Is he a foreigner? A Meitei who has fled from the hills, has fled to the Imphal Valley, has no document. Is he or she going to be a foreigner? And, so the problem which is already complicated is further made complicated by the Ministry of Home Affairs by issuing this kind of directions. And in one hand, people are saying that we do not have documents. On the other hand, Home Ministry is saying, oh, we listen to what the majority communities are saying. Everybody should come and stand up and submit their citizens. How are you going to do that? You are not able to move around. You are not able to move around, and this process is supposed to be finished by 25th of September. It's so unfortunate. So the decisions which are being taken by the Ministry of Home Affairs, they might be brilliant decisions at some stage, but I don't think they understand the issues. I don't think there are people in the ministry, they understand conflicts, and the biggest problem is the decision making. Because without the sanction of the Home Minister himself, and given the political sanction or the political interest, that nobody wants to take a decision. So in the Ministry of Home Affairs, I would say decision making itself is a problem. Even if somebody has an idea, they are not going to put it across because he will be shut down. So what could you expect more when you cannot have the government of BJP at the state and the central government not being even agreed to the state assembly session? Should not have there been any kind of consultation before holding or before convening the session? Obviously, there is not, or there was not. So you have been this kind of a situation. And I am saying once again, last point, we are in Somalia in 1990s. Irrespective of the number of security forces, even if you send more troops, you cannot bring the situation. And I think if you ask me today, once again, I'm saying nobody even thinks about bringing the Meitei, Naga, and Kuki civil society groups, taking them somewhere and holding talks with them, following the Chatham House rules.
Okay.
That has been done. It is not being done. And the
Okay.
only agencies you put is those who are connected to the Sangh Paribar, and they are not necessarily the people who have the experience of facilitating this kind of talks.
Okay, fair point. Fair point. Mr. Bansal, I also want to add one thing and want to know from you, because you have served in both theatres, Kashmir theatre and Northeastern theatre, with such heavy machinery being available. How does it make the task of army difficult? You have AK-47s in the valley, and we have seen what's happening in Kashmir. You have these weapons which you are saying has a range of 3 kilometers? 2 kilometers?
2 to 4 kilometers.
2 to 4 kilometers, and they fire how many bullets per second, per minute?
500 bullets per minute.
500 bullets per minute. And a range of 4 kilometers. सॉरी, अतिशोक्ति अलंकार का मैं इस्तेमाल कर रहा हूं, बस टैंक की कमी है.
So, see, we have not seen such kind of weaponry even in J&K. These are extreme heavy weapons which are no longer in use by the armies nowadays. They were being used in the Battle of Imphal and World War II, and I think ever since then they have been.
So how have they come to Manipur? Across the border?
Hello?
How have they come to Manipur? Smuggling?
No, these were lying in Manipur ever since the Battle of Imphal in World War II. So they were being used by the British forces. They are the British guns.
तो इनके हाथों में कैसे आ गई?
So they looted the weapons from the training centers. They were lying in training centers. They were lying in the police armories. They were lying in the Manipur Rifles armories. So they were looted from there. That's how it reached these people.
See, this also is a symbol, Kartikeya, of what everything that has been wrong with the state police right from day one. All these weapons, it's not like, somebody has gotten it or somebody has smuggled it. People are making homemade weapons also. They are improvising on the weaponry, which is also adding lethality. And also these weapons, weapons which have been looted in the hill, and weapons which have been looted, most of the weapons which have been looted in the valley. So now what has happened is that, that the citizenry is armed completely. And they are ready to pick up cudgels, and it's going to be very, very difficult for army, even if you impose after.
So, Mr. Bansal, what is the challenge in front of the army when such weapons are on field? What is the challenge?
Means they can be on sale, so they can be sold anywhere. The international mafia can take use of them. And I have mentioned a number of times, then if you count all the weapons currently available in the hands of non-state actors in Manipur, you can equip an entire division of army. Equip an entire division of army with these weapons. Such is the number of weapons available in entire of the valley and hill areas.
How do you get them back? How do you get them back? How do you get them back?
So you have to first of all carry out door-to-door search. You need to give power to the army. You need to impose Armed Forces Special Power Act. You need to make special teams who will go carry out the cordon and search of each and every village. Recover these weapons, recover all these ammunition. But that's what is not happening. Nobody is bothered about reimposing Armed Forces Special Power Act. Army cannot carry out operations in valley area where these weapons are hiding. Assam Rifles cannot carry out operations in these areas. And we know the state of Manipur police because there have been a lot of allegations on them for being biased. Not only that, I would like to mention that Manipur is a state which is heavily influenced by the social factors. These social factors are so important that when CBI team reached to initiate the inquiry of these looted weapons, the so-called women folk, Mira Paibis, they did not even allow them to enter the Manipur Police Training Center. They could not carry out an inquiry. Now, under such social
pressure... When did this happen, Mr. Bansal? When did this happen?
It happened in the month of May. It happened in the month of May when the weapons were looted. Immediately, central government took cognizance and they dispatched a CBI team. Now, CBI team was not allowed to enter. They were not allowed to move. And their security guards who were from Manipur police, they left them on the road. Finally, they had to rush back to their guest house, and whatever happened after that is not known. Anyway, so when there is such a strong social pressure, such a strong social society in Manipur, what is the guarantee that they will allow the Supreme Court appointed panel to function?
This is exactly what I had said, Kartikeya, that day when,
I'm
the
exactly,
Supreme Court.
I'm doubtful about it. So this Justice Mittal's commission, or maybe whatever CBI commission they have appointed, they cannot do anything. You go to Churachandpur Road, that Bishnupur Churachandpur Road, the women folk are sitting on the road. You can't do anything to them. Women folk are checking they were checking the identity cards of armed forces, that if there is any cookie guy among them, you can't do anything. So under such social pressures, such strong social society, which is leading, we have seen the videos of, posted by Spear Corps Twitter handle, where these Mirapaipis were seen leading the armed rioters. They were leading the armed rioters. They were seen stopping the security forces. So when your social society, when your society becomes instrumental in spreading the terrorism or abetting the terrorism, what will you do in that? So that's exactly the problem of Manipur. And when you're talking about this blockade, I'll relate it to the blockade. See, blockades have not started, this NH2 blockade started now today. But what about the blockades of roads leading to Churachandpur and Chandel and Technopal? They were blocked for like 110 days. 110 days, not even a single truck has passed on those roads. Now when cookies are blocked,
तो लोगों को खाने को क्या मिलेगा? What उनको खाना पीना medicine? How are they accessing it from other states?
No idea. See, supply from Mizoram is very much limited because the road is not very. First of all, it is a treacherous road which takes about 14 to 16 hours. Secondly, it is a very
14 to 16 hours.
Not a very
14 to 16 hours. 14 hours.
14 to 16 hours is minimum. It may take more. 14 to 16 hours for a light vehicle, for a jeep or gypsy to reach from Aizawl to Churachandpur. But if you take a truck, it may take 24 hours. It may take more than that. But road is very bad. At places the landslides are there. At places there are potholes. At places the road is completely flushed away, washed away. So under such situation, the supplies coming from Mizoram is very much limited. So they have to be dependent upon supplies from coming from up now. For last 110 days, supplies were coming from Dimapur, but they were not reaching Chandel. They were not reaching Technopal. They were not reaching Churachandpur. So now cookies have initiated a counter blockade in NH2. Now the entire state will suffer. So ideally, these kind of humanitarian things are responsibility of the state government. They should have ensured that supplies are reaching each and every corner of the state. Had they were अगर उन्होंने सोचा होता, अगर उन्होंने इंश्योर किया होता कि supplies are reaching each and every corner of the state, today's situation would have not arisen at all.